Episode 7, American Strong Rye Ale, a.k.a. Dos Con S by Cismontane Brewing Company. Tonight we taste a new style of beer to Jarvis and I, an American Strong Rye Ale. But we're not alone. We're joined tonight by a local legend in the Southtown San Antonio beer scene, Dave Wade. Dave and Jarvis go back to being in a band together. Yes, I want to hear their music too. Dave brings some interesting insight to the show, and I hope you enjoy what he brings to this episode as much as I do. As for the beer, we're drinking Cismontane's American Strong Rye Ale, also found on Beer Advocate as Dos Con S. It's a heavy rye ale, less hoppy than a rye IPA, clocking in at 11.5%, one of our highest ABVs to date. Listen and see what we had to say about this unique beer. Jarvis, give us the intro because I don't know what intro you're looking for.
Intro. This is our intro. Welcome to Two Guys Drinking Beer. This very special guest host, Dave Wade. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Wade.
Who is Dave Wade?
Dave Wade is the man responsible for me getting a job at Blue Star in December 2007.
And a local hero, I hear.
I don't know about a hero. He's local.
I've actually been around Southtown for a long time. Huge beer nerd, home brewer. Worked at Blue Star for a long time. Friend of Freetail Brewers and a huge craft beer nerd.
So we should call him a beero, a beer hero.
I like it. Yes.
Yes.
I think he's earned
The title beero.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the mic. Yes, he has earned that label.
All right, so this is like our second episode with Jarvis, and I'm really impressed that we're doing this, mainly because Paramore is off and running, and it's off to the races. And
Finally.
I didn't expect to see him.
Yes.
Yes, it is a $1 beer club.
Jarvis, how long did you work at the filling station tap room?
Taproom was there since we opened April 2012. I was there March 2012. Like helped move in equipment, helped paint, helped re-gravel everything.
But you were the guy that brought in a lot of the beer. You were basically the face of the business.
I did not bring in the beer. All of that was John. But I was...
Another way of putting it, like we talked before,
I was the face of the business.
You definitely... Your presence here to open up the filling station was an amazing feat, and I think it's going to help just as much over at Paramore.
Yes, and we talked about that the last episode or 2 episodes ago, like how you had pointed out.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy that you started, like the last 2 jobs, you were there before they were open. Like, you helped open up the place, which I don't want to say lucky. I'm fortunate, very fortunate that I've had that opportunity to help open up 2 awesome fucking businesses. And maybe in a couple of years, I'll move on and open up another business that can somehow surpass Paramore.
Yeah, I agree completely. So, Dave, you've known Jarvis since he was a baby in the beer business.
Absolutely.
Why don't you give us
even
some...
before that.
We used to play music together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us some background on the Jarvis that some of us may not know, including myself?
On some of the Jarvis? I've always known Jarvis to drink a lot of well whiskey. The guy has a palate for good beer. He's a funny guy. He's a stand-up guy. I can't wait to see what his take on these 2 beers are. Yeah.
So with your background, have you had any American rye?
Are you talking?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Dave, have you had any American rye?
I've tried a couple American ryes. I couldn't list them off by name. We're looking at aged in oak chips. Yeah, real ale. Real ale. Solid brewery.
Half moon or full moon?
We got someone saying they're on Survivos. They want to drink with us. Well, come over to Joe Blues after the podcast, and well, we should be over there.
Fucking right. Well, can we? I mean, I can get into anecdotes, but let's since we're on a beer podcast, let's try the beer first.
Jarvis, so this is the American Strong Rye Ale Dos Cones by Cismonte Beer Brewing Company out of Santa Ana, California.
I've never heard of them. I'm looking forward to it.
It's an 11.5.
We're gonna open up both and split it 3 ways.
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Why didn't we bring? Oh yeah, because you don't like beer.
I'll taste it.
That is what she said.
So did you show Dave the glasses?
No, I did not. Bam! Look at that beautiful mug. Well, my beautiful mug on that pint glass.
In the words of Old Dirty Bastard, I think you just say "bup bup."
So Jarvis, we really need to get a third microphone in here.
Yes, we do. Soon.
I can just sit on Jarvis's lap.
I think he'd enjoy that.
I would, but it'd still be better if we had a third one.
Hey Brian, what's going on? We're getting some comments on our Periscope. We got 2 Periscope feeds going. One with Jarvis's phone.
Yeah, a little bit more on that one.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What is your friend's name, Dave?
Kim.
Kim.
Kim's running Jarvis's feed, and I'm running my feed. So give us all hearts. Jarvis, what's your Periscope name?
I think it's Bearded Jarvis.
Bearded Jarvis.
Pretty sure it's Bearded Jarvis.
Bearded Jarvis, look him up.
Y'all have Periscope?
Fuck yeah, we got Periscope.
All right.
It's an American rye ale.
All right. American Rye?
Dave, hold on. Are you not on Periscope?
No.
You need to get it just to watch Brie Olson, the former porn star. She periscopes all day long.
And
Yeah, she's been out of the business for like 5 years. She is super fucking smart.
She is an amazing
Her
human being.
feeds are awesome. She is smart as shit. She is funny. She is gorgeous. She's just an overall fucking awesome person. Like, and it's crazy to have that window into her life.
Yeah, it is. And
I would download Periscope. Everybody, Dave Wade, Kim, I don't know your last name. Everybody listening, download Periscope just so you can watch Brie Olson. I forget her real name. I think it's Rachel. She talks about it every now and then.
I forgot what her last name
I'd
is.
prefer to not say her last name even if I did know it, but if she offers that on her feed, she will.
No, we're not
But
on
she
the
is,
radio.
She is fucking a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Inside and out.
And it proves you can't judge a book by a cover just by
Exactly.
listening to her.
But back to this beer. American Rye Ale, aged on oak chips. Cismontane? Sorry, one more time. Cismontane Brewing Company.
Jarvis, where was your first job at the strip club?
That was at Foxy in El Paso.
Oh, that's right.
Back to the beer.
Hopefully,
Jarvis has a
maybe
DJ
they'll
voice.
sponsor us. Probably not.
Maybe.
Just walking to the motherfucker like, yeah, I worked here in 2000.
You know, I mean, I haven't been in Southtown for about a year. Love coming down,
Probably like 8 months.
hanging out with you motherfuckers, talking about beer, getting drunk, grabbing junk. So this is it's 11.5.
11.5.
Yeah, these numbers I'm taking issue with just on face value looking at it. It says 130 IBUs, which
That should be pretty hoppy.
130.
That should be real bitter. Wait, are we still talking about the beer, or can we try it?
You can taste it if you want, but 130 IBUs. I think you've been away from the beer world for too long. 130, like that's unheard of.
That should be bitter as fuck.
Yeah, and I can tell you,
It should make my butthole pucker.
Dave,
you
take a sip because I've already sipped it,
Okay.
and you
And
don't
also,
get the pucker factor.
Step up to the mic, please. When you, but 130, like the human tongue can't taste over. Let's say like 100, 110, Hop Stupid's 101. I think Devil Dancer triple IPA from up north. The people that do all day IPA and Centennial Founders. I think Devil's Dancer is like 110 IBU, 130. Like I'm just calling bullshit on that.
Yeah, there's no way that is 130 IBUs.
Especially if it's
bitter.
just rye ale, not rye IPA.
It's very balanced. I am a little bit colorblind. Holding it up to the light, it's a little foggy. It looks like it has a lot of yeast in it still.
Definitely unfiltered.
It is, right. It is bitter. It's but it's balanced. It does have a good malt character to it. I will say this, not to promote Dodging Duck in New Braunfels. I did try a 100.
Well, they do more English style.
That's true, and I did have a ESB up there that was bitter. Can I cuss? It was
all the fuck you want.
It was bitter as fuck. It was
Tim, you wanna cuss?
advertised as 114 IBUs. But it's
Wait, 100 what IBUs?
114
On an ESB.
on an ESB.
That's fucking retarded.
It's outside the style. It's that's
What?
an ESB. You don't want a super hoppy, but
Yeah, ESBs
This-
are supposed to be... ESBs aren't bitter. That's like 30 IBUs for an ESB.
extra special bitter.
But that's English bitter, not American bitter.
Right. Well, and we're talking about Texas Hill Country. We're talking about a guy that is passionate about brewing beer, and that was his style.
But they do English style.
That's true.
Their stuff is not hoppy.
It should.
For the past couple years, I missed last year, but the previous 2 years went to Oktoberfest in New Braunfels with our good friends Mike and Nicole Schaefer,
I love them.
and we stopped at Dodging Duck, and I'm sure they've been continuing this tradition on years earlier and years after since the years that I missed, and with Rick and Ruthie, and we always stop
Also great people.
at Dodging Duck, get some snacks, get some fried green tomatoes, whatever meal, get the beer sampler, the flight,
The longboard. Yeah,
Yeah.
the flight. Sure.
and
It usually comes on a little paddle, kind
they're
of
usually
German style,
not that hoppy.
which is consistent with the Hill Country breweries and whatnot. The more I taste this, I like it a lot. The ABV, you can definitely taste it in the back.
You have to
The back of your throat. It is a big beer. Ryes, to me, tend to be a lot sweeter, so maybe that's where the balance comes from. But it's hoppy as fuck.
True, but I
can't argue with the IBUs on that.
wouldn't even guess this would be 80 IBUs, let alone what did they claim 130.
Well, that's the balance of a good beer. The malt character, especially in a rye, tends to be sweeter. So,
Even then-
that's the balance. Also with the color, one of my favorite beers, that I have at work, and I have a limited selection, is
And where do you work?
I work at Fizz Bar.
Fizz Bar.
Yeah, plug. Come see us Thursday trivia. Get out of here, cockroach.
What'd you call me?
Cockroach. It's when you have a lighter color beer, like Bridgeport or Sierra Nevada, it tends to be less sweet. The malts with ryes, I think, Jarvis, you could correct me, or
Oh, I will.
they tend to be a little bit darker.
Wait, what was the question?
IPAs, that are lighter, tend to be hoppier. The IPAs that are darker, tend to be have a little bit more of a malt character to it.
Well, yeah, because that comes from the roasting and...
Right. I absolutely agree. I think this beer, also the darker ones tend to be higher in alcohol content, just because of the sugars
they're-
and the darker
Yeah,
malt.
and they're trying to balance out
Right. So that's, I fully agree with you, that it doesn't taste as hoppy as the label says, but I think we can all agree that tends to be misleading from time to time.
True. And how can I word this? The IBU count is not necessarily, it's a bitterness level. It's not how hoppy a beer is. It's usually a good...
For anybody that's listening, IBUs, if it hasn't been explained, is International Bittering Units.
Thank you.
So that, that could be English hops, that could be American hops.
Or it could be the beer gets its bitterness from dark roasted malt, like a stout, where
Absolutely.
bitterness doesn't always equate to hoppiness. Sometimes it does, but not every time.
That is spoken with purpose right there.
Hot damn. I did
yeah.
something right.
Dark roasted malt, it's like cooking toast. The color, when it's
Oh, it's
when
more like coffee beans.
okay, there you go. That's a way
Better
better
analogy.
example. Absolutely. So, should we try this one more time?
The beer?
Has Kim tried it yet? Our
I tried it.
Hold on. Kim says that she doesn't like beer.
I don't like beer. Shut up. Suck my dick.
Don't be scared.
never date a girl that doesn't like beer.
I like beer.
That's just a little bit of truth.
You shut
I don't
up.
like beer. I like
Oh,
beer.
we'll see what happens later, bitch.
I think I just got called a bitch. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all right. We
I know
Jarvis
you
and I have
said,
been.
but what do you taste? What do you think?
Kind of sweet too. I taste sweetness.
What else? Sweet? Like what kind of sweet?
It's strong.
Yeah.
I don't like beer, so
But there's no wrong answer. What do you taste?
it hits me.
All right.
It's like punching me in the back of the throat right now. That's what she said.
But can you elaborate on the flavor a little? Maybe second sip?
I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Does it taste like peaches? Does it taste like pumpkin? Is it sour?
It's not bad. Yeah, give it to me.
You heard her, Dave.
Shut up. Just stop it.
All right, Dave. All right, Jarvis. Well, we
Yeah,
let her,
go
well, we
over
let
there.
her
Thank
try
you.
the beer.
We should
So-
give you like a pen and paper.
So-
Yeah, I'm better.
So give us a Paramore report.
Paramore report. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about sales numbers and
Well,
whatnot, but
not-
I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
No details. Just give us.
Well, I'm gonna.
I've heard it's pretty.
It is gorgeous. It is plush with the capital plush. I told Dave Wade early today, like, "Hey, you working?" Because he still thought I was at the filling station. Like, yeah, I'm working. So I was downstairs smoking a cigarette.
Jarvis, I knew you
On the clock.
I knew you were at Paramore, Jarvis.
No, you didn't. You lie to your mama. Don't lie to me.
When I said, "Where you at? Are you at work?" I knew you were at Paramore. I was just curious where Paramore was.
Fair enough. So you couldn't Google it?
Not when I'm driving. Not when I'm driving from the hill country.
Google Maps.
And I don't think Paramore shows up on Google yet.
It should. Their Facebook account started like last October, and they, in their first month, they had more Facebook likes, friends or whatever.
they
Hold
also
on.
had-
They had more likes than the filling station after like 3 years.
They
it
also
was
had
ridiculous.
more. They had more 5-star reviews.
yeah,
than
and
anyone.
reviews of people like, sounds fancy.
Yeah.
5-star review.
Yeah.
Like we're not even open yet.
How
Thank you, but like, give us an honest review. We weren't open. But so
I've seen pictures of the view. I've seen pictures of the view.
it is beautiful.
That's all I've heard.
But let's hope the bar's not writing on the view alone. I think
Oh,
the
no.
talent there should speak for itself.
Our bar staff is incredible. They're handpicked from so many different places. A lot of the bartenders have worked with Chris Ware before, so he knows their work ethic. And well, the bartenders, yes, there's a couple hot guys.
Yeah, no, I know.
The service staff, all of the ladies are super hot. It's ridiculous. Easy there. Put in an application. And where was I going with that?
Guys, let me
Hold on. A lot of the guys have trained with Dave Wade, and Wednesday was our soft opening. Our first real day of public business was Thursday.
mic drop. Boom.
If I could drop this mic, but it's
Let me
attached to.
Wait, are we still going? Are we?
Hey, it's all you now.
All right. Just to be objective, since we're trying beer here, and
Oh yeah, I forgot we're supposed to talk about beer.
yeah, well,
Get some nice caramel notes.
let's talk.
probably
about,
from the oak.
Let's talk about. Just because everybody has said that it's a great rooftop bar and it sounds like it's nice. Let's talk about how much the staff makes it a place. You need knowledgeable staff.
Absolutely.
The view is great. Aaron Jarvis is an incredibly knowledgeable person about beer, and
That's why I got handpicked to be the beer guy there.
absolutely. And kudos to you.
It doesn't always show through
Kim
this
clap.
show.
Kim
but
clap. And Jarvis's beard is much shorter than the last time I saw him.
yeah, the boss made me trim it because the owner wanted everybody to look trimmed.
I remember when you said you would not trim your beard for a job.
You know what? Health insurance at a job, service industry will make you change your mind real fucking quick.
Wait,
Yes, you heard me correct.
health insurance?
Health insurance at a bar, unfucking heard of. That's the kind of place.
benefits.
I know. Like I'm
And
not
Jarvis,
trying to brag. But
Jarvis, you're great at your
it's
craft.
fucking ballin'. The place is beautiful, and a lot of the drinks are affordable. If you have a $20 bill in your pocket and you want 2, maybe 3 drinks and tip, you can get some beer.
Well,
If you walk up and you got Amex Black Card and you're like, I want that $2,800 bottle of champagne, and I want a couple $300 bottles of champagne, and I want some
if I walk in, if I
$50 tequila rounds like per shot, you can do that. It's any and everything in between.
that is incredible. I will say this: when I walk into that bar, somebody better know their shit about it, and I think
Like staff wise,
absolutely,
yeah. The
absolutely.
bartenders know up and down. Yes, go in, please. That's why I told you today. Like, put on a button-up shirt and come in. And you said pearl snaps. Like, that's fine. Do pearl snaps.
I always rock pearl snaps.
I know, so I can rip them open. Hold on,
Goddamn right.
Get that mic on it. I don't want to mess up the cord.
Are you gonna do that?
I hope that picked up.
That really didn't.
Either way, just imagine I just ripped open Dave Wade's shirt.
It's a good thing.
It's a little tiny nipple.
Kim said it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
So anyway, back to the beer.
Back to the beer.
So far, the beer's actually really good. I'm not a big fan of ryes, but this is really, really good, and it's holding its flavor. You can feel the kick on the back end.
Well, this should say Imperial. It doesn't,
What do you mean by imperial?
because it's 11.5%. So like a typical, let's say you've got a brewing company that has a pale ale at 8%.
But remember, this isn't a pale ale. This is
Yeah, it's American Rye Ale, which is kind of misleading.
On oak chips.
yes, on which
On oak chips.
I'm still trying to figure that out. So did they lay out like a whole bunch of oak chips and pour it over it?
No, it's like dry hopping a beer. They probably have a sack of some sort or like stockings where they fill that with oak chips and then put that in the beer.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's becoming.
So it gets a little bit.
Hold on.
I have seen that happen at a brewery where you just get a little bit more of an oaky feel out of it, a little bit more of an oaky taste instead of aging in an actual barrel. Normally like a barrel is, from my perspective, it's usually a whiskey barrel. You age darker beers in that. I have seen, Jarvis, what was the beer that came from the Irish Scottish brewery that had oaked on leaves? It was, 16%.
That sounds like a brew dog.
Yeah, that was Brewdog. And it was aged on raspberries on lees. And lees were that's their term, I thought, for an oak barrel.
I thought anything on leaves was like
oak chips.
the yeast sits on the bottom. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's where
So-
they allow the yeast to like sit
So in the brewing process,
and like French spelling,
Where-
ENLEES, on lees.
where are these oak chips? Are they in the beginning? Is it during the fermentation? Is it?
No, it's at the
It's
very
at the
end.
end.
Yeah,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
we met Paramore staff, Chris, me, and I think one other person, or it may have just been us two, met with Strangeland Brewing back in March or April, maybe. And I wish I could remember the head brewer's name. But they age one of their beers on, I'm pretty sure it's oak chips also. And they opt to do that instead of the barrel because barrels are inconsistent. You never know, because barrels can go funky real quick from what you've seen and what you've tasted.
Right.
And I think they use
Yeah,
Garrison
Panama
Brothers
season,
whiskey, but they use part of those barrels and they use other oak chips or other wood chips. I think they use French oak and American oak from Garrison Brothers whiskey. I could be wrong about that. But they, instead of barreling it, they introduce those wood chips to it. And that also makes it more uniform batch to batch. They can taste it and use more or less to give the exact flavor that they want.
That's, as far as, some of these batches, Garrison Brothers, if we're talking about whiskey and Ranger Creek, I had a bottle of La Bestia that was, just a spirit aged, that was a second runnings or, that they distilled basically into a spirit. I think that's one of the great things that we're doing in Texas, as far as that. Some of these new breweries aren't necessarily so uniform, which is exciting. I think that brings up new topics. Like I said, Rio Blanco, their pale ale, their pale rye. When we got a new keg, every once or twice a week would be completely different. It would be well balanced, or it would be way hopped out. It could be very, very malty. And Sierra Nevada started out that way. From what I understand, even Freetail, Freetail Ale, I think they did different grain builds, different hop builds, and one of the cool things that they did was put a 5-gallon batch. You could bring your carboy and bring it in, and you could do the yeast yourself. So you could, kind of create your own beer as an amateur home brewer.
Well, I think that's one of the big issues that in this area that we see right now is small to medium-sized breweries, no names mentioned. The thing that prevents them from becoming a larger distributed beer is the consistency. Nobody wants to pick up a beer that's going to taste, that one bottle is going to taste and then the next batch doesn't taste like the bottle. And we will never say these words.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
I know
I'll
you
I'll
know.
let it go.
But we will never say these words again on this show. But that's where the big name distributors like Coors and Bud have mastered is every single can tastes like the exact piece of shit that it is.
And I've heard that they blend from like tons of different vats that are huge. Like Blue Star, our biggest serving vessel is 34 barrels before you put in that monstrosity that had to be like airlifted down into.
Right.
I think that was like
something like that.
Like-
I don't know the exact barrels, but
yeah, I think it was like 1734, then 68 barrel. That the one huge tank.
yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. You know, when you're drinking a beer, you want consistency. If you go to the grocery store, you know, I mean, you want the consistent product. Say it's, you know, the lager you like or the saison you like, which, you know, seasonal can always be different. You know, when you go pick up, I'll just say Shiner. You know that thing, you know, that 6-pack is always going to taste the same. When you get it in your bar, it's always going to taste the same.
Exactly.
There's something to be said for that. You know, that's I do think that, you know, some of these newer breweries, I mean, Sam Adams used to be called a microbrewery, which is now what, a macro brewery?
I don't know.
In a lot of terminology.
It's pretty close to being a mainstream brewery like the big three. But I think what we're all trying to say here is there's a comment to the brewery that says you finally reached an age where whether it's February, whether it's June, whether it's December, I know I have the consistency that I'm looking for. And I'm not going to be surprised for that one beer and that one style.
Texican.
I was thinking King William's Ale.
I'm going to overlook that.
Or-
King William is the most
barley wine.
consistent.
But it is the closest that he's had to consistency.
But on the Shiner note with inconsistencies, and it's not even really an inconsistency, it's the Shiner Ruby Redbird. Every year, it's been a little bit different.
Yeah.
Whether it's more ginger, more prickly pear, which I get, and grapefruit.
I didn't like the grapefruit one this year. Prickly pear?
I don't think I tried this year. The very first year, I thought it was too spiced. Then the year 2 and 3, I liked those better because it was more. It tasted more peachy to me.
I think that
You're way too far away from the mic.
I think the thing that I love about talking about beer most is it's so subjective.
Yes.
And we can agree to disagree, and
There's no wrong answer.
there's absolutely not. I'm a hophead sometimes, you know, in the winter, I want a winter warmer. Weren't we still supposed to be talking about this?
no, actually,
Yeah, I
this
guess
is
we
only
can.
an element of the podcast. We get into crazy, strange current events, which I was going to direct us to right now, real quick.
Oh, shit. Let me
Out of
smoke
a-
a cigarette and then, shit, we can go to current events.
Hold on. Out of 5 stars, what would you rate this beer?
I still taste it.
Probably a solid 4.
I think the same. 4. I'm kind of inching towards 4 1/4, but not really. If I could do like 4
wouldn't
and
go over
4 and 1/8, solid 4.
So,
Especially as it starts to warm up.
So
You
Yeah,
can
it-
really taste the
Get more
cream.
caramel notes.
yeah. So one of the things that we
It's-
normally do on the podcast
It's thick.
is
I don't want to say syrupy because that sounds bad, but it's dense. There's
one of the things that we normally
it's a
do
heavy mouthfeel.
on the podcast is compared to like Beer Advocate and the Bros Score.
Which is
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we're supposed to do the aroma and body
Well,
and
not just
color.
that, but compared to like what they rate it as.
Well, is it the Bros or is it just Beer Advocate?
There's no score right now
For either one?
because they don't have enough.
Well, that's because they haven't tried it.
That's true.
And I saw something pretty popular that we have at Paramore. I was looking it up, and on Beer Advocate, and there was no score from either BA or the Bros. Like, how is this possible?
Well,
Like,
it's saying awaiting 10 reviews.
that's why.
And right now it looks like there's 9.
Well, maybe we should start a joint account on Beer Advocate and
I think so. I'll do that this weekend. We'll make one. So, give us a little bit of background with you and Dave. I mean, you guys seem like almost brothers.
yeah, I forgot exactly how we met, but we played in the same band. It was a live hip hop, like think the Roots, but I would never compare ourselves to the Roots.
You mean the what the hell is his name? Band. I can't think of
Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon's band,
Yeah.
The Roots.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like hip hop with live instruments.
Oh wow.
And we still have a handful of videos on YouTube. Check it out. The band name was Rhyme Mind Theory. Rhyme Mind Theory. And
Look for Rhyme Mind Theory on YouTube.
Rhyme Mind Theory. The music was pretty good. Wasn't incredible. The lyrics. I'm trying to be nice. Lyrics weren't terrible. They could have been better. The drum, our drummer could have been better. And we had a different flux in the band. It was crazy. Like we started out as a 3-piece. The drummer, the lyricist, and me. And at one point, I think we had...
So what did you do in the band?
I played guitar.
Okay.
And with my weird guitar style, it was kind of lead and kind of rhythm. And then when Dave came in, he was more lead. I was more rhythm, but there was times where we would trade off.
So you were both guitarists.
Originally, there was like one guitar, but then...
I mean, but like when he came in, he was playing the guitar, or was he doing something else?
We had 2 guitars.
Okay.
And he would do more lead because I don't know shit for guitar theory. I was just like, oh, this sounds good. I'm going to play this. But at one point, I think we maxed out at 10 or 11 people on stage. So we had 2
How many?
guitars. Yeah, 10 or 11. We had 2 guitars, a bass guitar, drummer, conga, trumpet, lyricist. Chris Madden of Blowing Trees was our keyboard player. DJ M3, who used to do stuff years ago, so that's 9. We had more.
So you were almost a fusion of ska and hip hop.
No, we didn't have anything ska sounding, but
Just-
we had a weird mix of sounds.
I say that because a lot of ska bands are heavy into the brass,
Well, yeah, that
which kind of defines the whole ska movement. Is the trumpets and the sax and the
trumpet, sax, trombone.
Yeah.
But we had a trumpet player, Juan Guetta, who was fucking awesome.
So do you miss it?
A little bit, but we had a bad breakup and stopped playing music after that.
So now, Dave kind of opened Blues or Joe Blues, right?
He didn't open. Actually, yeah, he was one of the first bartenders at Joe Blues.
But did he work at Blue Star directly?
Yeah, he was at Blue Star Brewing Company.
Okay.
And
So then he went over to.
yeah, he got tapped to like
He's a
Hey,
pretty amazing guy.
Lifshitz built this brand new building, and Joey got the first floor of it. And Dave Wade was one of the first bartenders over there. I think he was second or third bartender ever over there.
So speaking of Lipschitz, let's talk about some real quick Blue Star news.
I don't like that diagram, the drawing, the conceptual whatever for like the
I think all of that's going to be kind of on hold for a bit. I have a gut feeling, but
that's fine. It's just like the weird how it goes up and then
Yeah.
the patios go out.
well,
Like,
and yeah,
I'm not describing it very well. Listeners, if you Just Google Blue Star
Yeah, there's. I don't even know the name
City Council drawing.
of the. Yeah.
It looks weird.
So the building I live in is half of it's going to be demolished while we're still living in it. Long story short, but what I was
So
going to
you're
bring
gonna
up
be waking
was-
up pretty early.
Yes, no more 3 a.m. podcasts. I think. But so our
Are these sound canceling headphones?
they're not canceling
You need to get some of those. So when they're doing the heavy like jackhammer,
that and a whole bunch of freaking more of these sound panels that we have up now. But so we've had this amazing manager that came in, Jessica, who just bent over backwards to help not only the residents but the commercial spaces. Went in to sign a new 6-month lease,
is she leaving already?
and she got fired on Friday.
How long was she here?
A month and a half, about what I told her she would be. I said, if you're into
Imagine
helping
that.
us, yeah. So our shithead, I'm not going to call him a slumlord, but if he was in New York, he would fit every description to be called a slumlord.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's terrible management.
Yeah, absolutely horrible management.
Did you hear the NPR article with like this young Jewish guy, like not picking on Jewish people? He happened to be Jewish. Now I don't know if it was NPR or Vice, and I hate Vice, so
But
hopefully it wasn't Vice.
in regards to here,
No, in regards to New York City, where this guy would pay. He would discriminate against people of color, usually black people, like offer to pay them $10,000 to move out of their place, and sometimes not pay them that, or pay them like $2,000 instead of the 10, so that they would move out to get in young white hipsterish people, and like multiple buildings. It like insane. I need to find the link. My friend Mike Townsend originally posted it, and I read it and then heard the audio. It is gut wrenching.
we need to get beyond all that shit. It's ridiculous.
I understand money's money, but like
I was
we're still all humans. We're all in this together.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the 2 cop killings and then the Bexar County murders.
Yeah, the sheriff, his fucking hands were up.
That being said, let's not get into that craziness.
And I didn't see the video because I don't want to see the video.
I did
but
see
I've
the
heard he had a knife. Did he had dropped the knife, right?
You, from the video that I saw, which was the one that KSAT paid for.
That which,
Who cares?
and then the sheriff's
Yeah,
like,
that's what
their
really
PR people going nuts, like
Yeah.
trying to sensationalize it, and like,
Yeah,
no, you are the assholes trying to sensationalize the whole thing.
That's the part that pissed me off. But from what I saw, I
So
didn't
he
see
had dropped the
anything-
knife.
I didn't see anything fall out of hands. I didn't see anything that were in hands.
I heard he had his hands up and he was moving towards the deputies, and then he got shot.
Yeah.
He got murdered.
Well, no, and I'm like we said, we're not. This is not
Right.
something that we're going to
Fair.
go into. But with
And
all
plus,
of that
yeah,
being
since
said,
I haven't seen it,
let's just say here at the show, any life loss is a horrible thing.
senseless.
Yeah.
De-escalate.
That
Don't-
being said-
don't shoot.
I was trying to like somehow segue us from a murderous rampage to CPS.
About the smart meters?
No, actually, so apparently today on the Rivard report, CPS signed an agreement with I'm not going to look it up because it'll take too long, with a solar company to start to offer people in San Antonio not free, but an offset for solar panels. So basically,
if you own your solar,
if you want solar, they'll put it up and install it for free.
so if you want solar panels on your house,
Yes. And the thing is, but CPS will charge you like a 0.3 cents per kilowatt hour that you generate fee.
so do I own the cells, or
Here's the
I'm
thing.
letting them use my...
Here's the thing. So you go to this solar company, and I'll look it up here in a second. And basically, what you do is you get into a lease agreement with them. So you're leasing these solar panels for 20 years, and I believe it's a 0.3 cents per kilowatt that you generate. You pay, instead of paying a flat fee for customers to lease.
0.3% sounds way too low.
Hold on. Instead of paying a flat fee to lease customer rooftops like other programs across the country, SolarHost will operate by PowerFin, will pay customers 0.03 cents per kilowatt hour
Okay, so there's 3 cents on the dollar.
produced by their panels for 20 years. So basically what they're doing is they're saying, we're going to give you free solar panels over a 20-year lifespan. So here's the way to look at it. You agree to a lease, and let's say the house that you're living in right now, you buy. And
I fucking wish.
And you plan on staying there for 30, 40, the life of the mortgage.
I want to die in that house.
You go to this PowerFin, and SolarHost will come out and put free solar panels on your
So
on
then
your roof.
CPS pays them?
And somehow there'll be a tax and a charge that happens over 20 years to cover the cost of the solar panels. But CPS, all the energy that you produce that goes above and beyond your usage gets put back into the power grid, and CPS isn't crediting you. They're just taking that power. So therefore...
So they're going to cut me a check.
No, they're not going to cut you a check.
Then they need to give me a credit.
No, all that credit goes to paying off the lease that you would have had.
What if I outright buy my... and I'm sure you don't know this.
Okay, so I do know this because my buddy Jim
So
in
like
California...
if you outright buy... Well, this is here, not there.
Right, but so there's a universal distribution agreement that's for pretty much all...
So if I go out tomorrow and spend $10,000 on solar panels, hook it up, be like, hey, CPS,
Yeah.
do this. I'm never home during the day. I generate more than I take.
So here's what happens. You get a credit on your energy bill, minus taxes and other like hard fees. So you may have a $200-300 credit.
Well, as long as my roommate doesn't keep turning down the AC to 75, then it should be good.
So here's the thing. Like my buddy Jim, he basically runs a small computer network out of his house in California, which has some pretty high energy bills.
Well, yeah, that's going to take more cooling.
He got a $15 credit off of his June bill. To give you an idea, his last year's June bill was $450.
Well, yeah, and now we got a $15 credit. That doesn't really...
So it wiped out. Like
That's not really like making my balls tingle.
No. This was before he put solar panels up. The year before, he didn't have solar panels up. So the year before, he would have paid $400 to Southern California Edison.
So this one was $375.
No, he wiped out that and made $15.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
But it's not something that you can go say, give me money for. It's a credit towards...
just let the
towards
credit
future
roll.
bill. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So over time, it makes sense. And then when you think about this program that CPS is doing, if you can get even 35% of all the houses in San Antonio, each one...
And this is kind of a sunny area.
Yeah, each one generating 2 kilowatts of power a day.
Well, and even driving driving out 90
which way? West or east?
90 west.
Towards El
there's-
Paso?
Yeah, there's 90 west, but not even, you don't have to go to El Paso.
Right.
90, I'm pretty sure it's even inside the city where there's a small solar farm.
Well, CPS is big on solar, yeah.
But I thought they were kind of dicks about
There's
home solar.
So there's a lot of companies...
Like they want solar for themselves, not...
Well, there's a lot of energy companies around the country that do not want you to push back onto the grid. So if you buy solar...
Well, that's fine. As long as you're
don't get
producing it for yourself, then...
Right. But so like if... Let's just say like I know...
Yeah, because they want to make the money. They don't want you to produce.
Right. So I know for me, I eat about 1,600 kilowatts of power a month. I don't know whether that's
I've
high
got
or low.
no idea what that means.
But so if I get solar panels that that produce 2,200 kilowatts per month. There are districts in the country, there are energy areas in the country where the energy companies will not buy that extra 500 kilowatts back.
Well, they don't have to buy it. It's there. It's produced. So just
Right.
send it away.
But they don't give you a credit.
That's fine. Give me a $0 bill.
Right.
And give it to somebody who needs it, who can't afford it.
And so that property out in California I'm looking at, that's one of the things. It's like
But 40 acres?
exactly.
Beautiful.
So I'm completely off the grid. So there are no power lines. The catch-22 to this whole thing is, even if I had, say, a 10,000 kilowatt generating system, it still costs me $5,000 a pole to get power onto the property because there's never been power there before.
Build your own short poles.
Well, you can't. You have to meet regulations and all that.
Well, if it's on your own property,
No. I mean, to get to tie into the grid to
well,
start.
then
to
don't
start-
then don't tie in.
I'm torn by that. I do want to be able
You'll
to
figure it out.
contribute back because I
Well-
mean, if you think about it, if I'm
So
producing
California, they will buy your solar back.
Well, Southern California Edison will, but LADWP is questioning it.
Then at that point, well, how many acres do you want to dedicate to solar?
No. I'm just saying, like right now,
You just want rooftop?
producing 10,000 kilowatts doesn't take up a lot of physical space.
Then I wouldn't worry about putting it back into the grid.
Right, but I mean, to me, it's like I have it. It's going to waste if I don't use it. So why not give it back?
You can't get a generator that can
You can do all that, but
start small. Worry about yourself before
I totally understand that. But what I'm saying though is, so
some good ass beer.
it is actually. So right now we're at 51 minutes.
All right, 9 minutes left.
What do you think?
Again, 4-star. It's pretty heavy mouthfeel. It's kind of syrupy. It's kind of dense. It's good. It's not very complex. I don't want to say one-dimensional, but it's
There's something there. It's just it's
yeah. There's not layers of flavor,
Yeah.
but there's like 2 layers of flavor.
So I'll agree with you on the 4-star. To me, it's missing that one little piece to take it to a 4.5.
I think maybe if there was a little bit more carbonation because it's so dense, that would wow me. That would be like
Maybe a nitro version of
that would be
this?
the uppercut. Maybe a nitro. I think nitro beers are kind of kitschy, personally.
I think they are kind of overrated, but if you use it in the right circumstances,
True, and I've heard great things about beers that are. It's usually Oscar Blues stuff. Like if you go to the Oscar Blues Brewing Company in Lyons, Colorado, I believe, they've got tons of like random one-offs, and they'll do stuff like Old Chub or even Dale's Pale Ale on nitro.
oh wow.
And it's just like, it's a new experience. It's this beer that you've had a dozen times before, dozen plus, whatever. Try it on nitro.
Yeah, and I do understand that, like, from talking to the guys over at Four Sons Brewery, which is my little sit my ass down and chat all night
You're a little home away from home.
in California.
Or you're home away from home near your original home.
Yes.
That used to be home. That's not now home.
Is
But you're their homies. And
I
they're
am
your
their homies.
Or you are their homie.
I am there.
And they are your homies.
They're homie. But with the nitro thing, it works great for taps. Does not work at all for bottling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're left with what we're left
Because
with.
you have to get the widget.
The what? Oh, the little thing
Yeah.
that the Guinnesses have in them.
That
What the hell is that, by the way?
It's like a plastic bead with 4 holes cut in it. I don't understand how that shit works.
Yeah, you pop it and then you get the nitro. It makes it makes no sense. So interesting side note. So Donald Trump and Ben Carson are both tied for the lead, 23% each.
See, I knew this was going to happen, that Trump was going to lose his steam because he was like in the lead at first. And
Right,
just
of
like,
course. I mean,
just
that,
like any
that
election,
is
like
what it is.
it's always X person is in the lead. Give it a couple months, somebody else. A couple months later, somebody else. And especially with the Republican Party this year, like there's way too many people running. And on the Democratic side, I know you're usually more Republican leaning.
Yeah.
I'm more Democratic leaning. I think Hillary needs to get out of the way. It needs to be Bernie Sanders for everybody.
Well, I think for sure it needs to be Hillary needs to go away.
Yes.
Um,
And she's not a bad candidate, but if it's her and Bernie, maybe even her as VP, I've got no problem with that. But it needs to be Bernie.
Yeah.
Wanting to defund the elections. Just yeah. Bernie.
I have you, so what do you know about Ben Carson?
I know his name.
So he's apparently like the first black super neurosurgeon, self-made billionaire or millionaire at least.
And usually Republicans don't like black people, and usually black people are Republicans. And just generalized statement, not
Well,
just from what I've seen,
pre
from
like
my personal experience.
pre like 40s. Because all of the KKK and all of the post-Civil War stuff were Democrats, and they admitted to that.
That's when the Democratic and Republican parties were basically backwards, and now they are.
Now, so
Now they've switched.
the interesting thing is, like, this guy is this amazing neurosurgeon. He made a comment about, like, during the debates about how he doesn't see color because when he's operating on someone's brain,
I can understand that.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, as a doctor, and that's
Yeah.
just any doctor. They don't see the human body the same way we do. It's
But what I'm saying is, I don't know whether I'd actually vote for him or not if he made it to the nomination. But that kind of attitude to me, when it comes to race relations, is like, come on, we're all. You peel away as Joe Rogan put it, the levels of melatonin that we each receive. We all have the same muscular structure. We all have the same DNA underneath us.
exactly.
And yes, there are people in the world today who can't get over that, and they're fucked up, and they need to fucking be shot. Whether they lean left or right or up or down, they're fucking idiots.
And yeah, a lot of people, they will say like, I'm not racist, and that's fine. They probably aren't. But a good friend of mine, Marion Galvan, shared this 3-panel cartoon that I will describe. 3 panels. First panel, well, I think that all lives matter. 2 guys standing side by side. Second panel, a guy holding a water hose. We should care exactly, equally, at all times about everything. Third panel, all houses matter. While he's putting the water hose on the house that is not burning, while the house that is burning is not being put out.
Right, but you've shown me this before. We've talked about it before on the podcast, and I find that completely fictitious because I believe that people are good at heart, and the area where I'm looking at the land,
I like to think the same thing.
like
Unfortunately, there's
peoples
a
who's-
disproportionate number of...
there isn't.
It is disproportionate.
I think that with the way the media acts right now, there is a minority that acts that way, but they can blow it up to make it look like it's a larger number. Because I guarantee you, no matter how much you dislike someone's beliefs, whether it's gay marriage or race, if you saw someone hit by a car, doesn't matter what they look like or what they believe in, you would go out there and you yourself, Aaron Jarvis, would go out there and try to help them.
This is speaking more to police brutality than...
And I am so torn by the
Just like the guy that got shot by the Bexar County sheriffs with his hands up.
right. I'm going
That
to
we're not supposed to talk about.
I'm going to say this. This is my only comment on that subject. So I see a lot of my friends, because I have both creative friends and military friends, who are like, if you don't stand with cops, disown me and dislike me as friends. And if in other posts, like if you agree with police brutality, disown me. And it's like,
They're both as ridiculous as
I'm not going
each
to
other.
comment. I'm not going to like or dislike or share or any of your shit, because right now,
to blindly.
what we're seeing is more cops who have power issue trips.
Yeah.
Should that cop in Illinois or should the cop in Houston have been shot execution style? No,
No,
that's not right at all.
nobody should be killed. That's
And there's and the guy with his hands up. Okay, let's touch on the subject for the next minute.
or even skip the. How many dogs
Yeah,
in their own yard?
Yeah.
Like a cop walks up to the house and like the dog comes up friendly, like a fucking Labrador, golden lab.
Did you see the
Shot dead.
Did you see the pit bull one that they shot?
I did not see that.
It went on for
the most recent one that I heard of, a cop goes to the wrong house. It was supposed to go next door. Dog chained up, which I don't agree with, chained up to a tree. The dog obviously can't reach the cop, and he still shoots the dog.
Yeah. Well, there was
Obviously not a threat.
there was a video recently where a dog, I believe it was like a pit bull style dog, he went up to the cops and fell immediately on his back and was like, "Scratch me." He was, and then finally
And the cop shot him?
they got frustrated and they tried to use like one of these long things with the hook and the noose thing.
For a dog that came up and was submissive?
Yeah, and he got a little.
All you have to
aggro.
do is pick him up.
Yeah, he got a little aggro, and it was like, wouldn't you if someone like tried to fucking noose your neck? And so
All you have to do is walk up and pick up the dog.
one of the
or
cops-
just like walk up and be like, hey, buddy,
one of the
follow me.
One of the cops had the noose around him, and the other cop still shot. It's like,
And
How
mailmen
is
deal with
this
this every day,
acceptable?
and they don't fucking do that.
yeah, how is all this acceptable?
That's why I love the cheesy, like a Scandinavian memes, like our cops do this, this, and this, and we have never shot a dog. Fuck you. Like,
agree
Yes,
completely.
like do your job. You're supposed to de-escalate a situation.
Exactly.
I understand if somebody's shooting at you, absolutely shoot back. If somebody pulls out a gun, you don't have to shoot them. Get out of the way. That's your job. You chose that job.
Exactly. And that's one thing that a lot of Republicans will say to soldiers who say like, well, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for my college fund. And I never expect to go to war, which I completely disagree with. You sign up for the military.
Two of my best friends in El Paso, they signed up. 9/11 happened. They were in basic training
Yeah.
for Army Reserves. They didn't know about the 9/11 attack until a week later. It was like fucking Pauly Shore.
Oh, the water,
Yeah, water boy or in the Army now.
Yeah, in the Army now. But my point to that is like,
Because they were water boys. My two friends, they joined laundry detail. They didn't find out till a week later. Terrible.
but my point to all that is, okay, you're going into a system that goes to war. So to say that, oh, I only joined for the college fund is completely disingenuous. And it's the same with this other stuff where it's like, oh, I had no idea. Well, no, bullshit. You knew what you were getting
Yeah,
into.
that was a very real possibility. And like the main possibility.
But you know what? Prior to now, if you look at the stats, yes, there's a lot of cops who die on duty. The vast majority of them are killed in car accidents.
Because they're speeding through
And
places.
they don't wear their seatbelts.
And this is kind of shitty. There's a great meme on Cop Block with like a cop looking down his laptop, like,
Yeah, I've seen it.
I just did a U-turn while on my laptop and talking on my radio and this so that I could pull you over for you not signaling because that's unsafe driving. Like, the hypocrisy.
I completely agree with you. Now,
I totally agree with the cell phone ban.
absolutely. But I also believe that cops should do that too.
Yeah, but they
I
don't.
saw-
They've got their laptop and
I went to April's today, and as I'm pulling in, I see a cop.
April's Chinese.
Yeah, new management, by the way, better food.
It's never been that bad. I just hate how they have the huge
And they
chunks
deli-
of vegetables, but
and they deliver till 3 a.m.
they fucking deliver.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Well, there goes all my money.
Yes. On that note, let's close this out.
Yes.
Amazing beer.
Yeah. American Rye Ale, aged on oak chips by Cismontane
And
Dos Cones.
they're a Southern California brewery, right?
Let's see. Rancho Santa Margarita.
Yes.
Never heard of that. I know Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Santa Margarita is about 20 minutes south of Huntington Beach and about
I don't know where that is.
35 minutes away from Long Beach.
I don't know where that is either, but I hope our listeners do.
Yes.
Because please go visit them. I still call bullshit on their IBU count, but the beer is still good. Go visit them. Patronize them.
yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Why don't you pour the rest of that into your glass and we'll finish
Do
it
they
off.
have food also, or is it just beer?
It's just beer. They're much like filling station.
Will
where
they let you bring your own food?
they'll have food trucks.
Sweet. Everybody, go to Cismontane.
Yes,
Get
definitely.
some tacos. Get some good beer.
So I'm gonna say this. I don't know what Jarvis's schedule is over the next few weeks. I don't know that he knows what it's gonna be.
Nope. I know this week.
You know this week, but
It's
Paramore's been pretty crazy.
8 p.m. till 4 a.m. at least for the next couple days, and then Sunday 4 to 4. Thankfully, there's no Fear of the Walking Dead this week,
Yes.
and I still need to catch up on that.
Which, by the way, guys, if you have a chance, watch Fear the Walking
It
Dead.
is so good. I saw the first episode.
But detach yourself from what you know about The Walking Dead. Because there's a few times I was in both episodes where I was like, that's a zombie, mother. And it's like, oh, wait, they have no idea what zombies are.
Well, I don't think they even call them zombies in Walking Dead.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
Even
even
the first
those,
episode was great. Like in the junkie house, like
yeah. Even
the
this,
girl eating everybody. Like
even though somebody
great.
brought up an interesting point, which is like, did they not watch Day of the Dead or there are zombie movies out
true, but
that are separate from the storyline, and I get it. I'm not gonna comment either way on like whether that's dumb or good, but
they don't know what's happening.
it's a totally sterile universe,
Yeah.
and fear.
Yeah.
Fear is about like nobody knows what's going on, and I still think I go back to thinking about like Rick and what he went through in Walking Dead and the
When he
pilot.
woke up in the hospital.
No, with the people that he was chasing. Like, were they infected and were they turning when he shot them? That original chase where he ended up in the hospital?
No, yeah, they were not infected.
I don't know. I kind of feel like
No,
that
they,
was like a
he just
tie-in.
like robbed a bank,
Yeah, but
and like they thought there was only two
But remember-
suspects, but there was
but-
three.
okay. So for some reason, I was thinking he shot one and he kept moving.
No, they wouldn't have the agility to hold a gun and shoot Rick.
You would be surprised. You haven't seen episode 2 yet.
Fair.
But definitely catch Fear of the Walking Dead, 8:00 Central Time on AMC. Jarvis, do you have
AMC,
anything?
give us money and/or beer.
Yes.
And/or beer money.
Jarvis, do you have anything?
Or AMC, like, let us go watch an episode behind the scenes.
That would be good.
Oh, Maggie.
Too bad Beth's dead.
Oh, she's making music now.
Is she?
Yeah. Our good friend Frank Bernal is up in New York City. He
Yeah.
recorded her music video. I've heard it's like kind of teeny bopper, cheesy.
Well, I knew she was like a
I haven't heard it, but yeah, she sang those two songs. First it was that great Irish. Fuck. Why can't I remember this right now?
We'll come back to that next episode. Or not.
Talk while I think.
I have no idea what else to say. So, anyways, some of the things that we're looking at trying to do here on the podcast for the future, we'd love to get some sponsors, and more so, even more so than sponsors.
The Parting Glass. She sang The Parting Glass.
What the fuck is a parting glass?
The Parting Glass is a great Irish song that was also on a cheesy, quick commercial on Hulu.
Was it on The Walking Dead?
Yeah, when they were in the prison. Of all the money that e'er I had,
Oh, okay, yeah.
I spent it in good
That was her?
company. Yeah, she sang that, and then she sang that Tom Waits song, Hold On.
With
She's got a great voice.
with Daryl, right? When they were at the house.
No, that was before.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I forget the song she played there.
I
but
thought she sung something on that one too.
she did there, but the first two were at the prison.
Okay.
One outside, that was Parting Glass. Then inside, she sang Hold On.
Oh, okay. So to sum this up, one of the things that we're looking for is we'd love to get sponsors soon, but there's no, we're not making any guarantees with that. But what we would really like is if you're outside of Texas brewery, we would love to try some of your beer.
Yeah. Send us 2 samples.
We're looking for bombers, 2
we will
bombers.
be brutally honest. So
And we'll
if
give you-
your stuff's not good, be prepared for.
Yeah, we'll give you the best reviews you've ever had. Not meaning we're not going to give you great reviews if you're shit.
Yeah, like don't expect.
Yeah,
Don't expect an easy A.
we do what we do, and
Also, Avery Brewing Company, please send us beer because I love all your stuff, and I'm sure I'll love it. But if not, we will be honest about it.
all right. So we're out of here. Love you guys.
Peace.